Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, so far we have heard information on data on floodplain. This is one of a work in progress which we are doing up in North Brazil. For those who don't know, Maranhão is in the Amazon area of Brazil. The outline, I'll give you an introduction on the problem, on what we're doing with GEOBIA, and defining a little the area under study, the methodology, results, and a conclusion. Well, why study mangroves? Why? Well, for those who don't know the tropical region, mangroves are natural filters of the sediments and of the dirt which comes down the rivers, mainly in these areas, in these regions. And we have to think the water of the tropical oceans are very poor in nutrients. Mangroves are those areas where you have high primary productivity. These are the nests and the birthplaces of fishes, shrimps. So primary productivity is an important issue. If you live there, if you get your fish, if you plant your manioc, or cassava on your bananas, so you are already feeding. This is the feeding basis of many, many people. So, and in Brazil, the mangroves are under protection. Unfortunately, in this new forest code, which is now to be, was approved, but probably will be vetoed by President Rousseff, there will be some changes. Everybody is expecting those changes for better, obviously. And there is obviously a strong population increase. Due to that, these areas are further protected. There is an expansion of cities like São Luis. São Luis is built up in a very fragile environment, and due to that, these mangroves, which are within the city, must be further protected. The dynamics is of all urban areas in Brazil, special capitals. They're growing very fast, much faster than any European capital, and as such, they also deserve special care. And obviously, in Brazil, remote sensing is an absolutely must for whatever you want to spatialize or represent in area. Remote sensing, be it aerial photographs, be it satellite images, are absolutely necessary. Obviously, in the Amazon, as you heard, there are radar data. We have also radar. We had a huge radar project called Projeto Radam, where I worked many years ago, which was the first mapping of the country. And today we have also LiDAR, as you will see, very high resolution images. Obviously, INPE has a set of over 30 years Landsat coverage from the whole country and border countries. Over 30 years of Landsat image. This is quite a good data set to study the temporal evolution, especially of those very dynamic areas like central Brazil and the Amazon. And obviously, with the high resolution images, now we can do much further work. This work is being done in partnership with the Federal University of Maranhão, UFMA, and my partner, Mr. Vieira, is on the bottom. He works with me on his master thesis, and there are other works under development in this region. The objective here is to identify the main mangrove fragments, because within the city there are only fragments. Further outside there are large mangrove covered areas, still with low destruction by humans, still, but no guarantees that this goes very long. We consider the OBIA paradigm using WorldView-II images and our inter-image software. I would like to, for those who don't know yet, to introduce inter-image, our own software developed in partnership between PUC, the Catholic University of Rio, with INPE. Because it is our opinion, we can use, as long as we want, foreign imported software. Yes, we can pay every year, license, and for long time. And who will do then remote sensing? Quite a few people, who has money, few universities, and that's it.
I like to remind a story of spring. Why we developed spring. Without spring, eventually this room wouldn't be filled here with people working with remote sensing. But with spring opened possibilities for the private, for commercial use, for research, and you have a community, a user community which requires quality each time more, and that's very good. And the same idea lies behind InterImage. By the way, you can download InterImage in your paper. You have the link. You please download it, use it, discuss it, and send your comments, critics, whatever. So the area under study here, this is Maranhão Island. This is an island on Maranhão State where the capital, São Luis, is located. These are some border municipalities. In red, encircled the area under study. This is in the city, as you can see. Here are these mangrove sections, which are surrounded by the city, and there is not naturally a big pressure on these areas to get them as charcoal, to get them this wood for patisserie, for pizzerias, and all these things. And this is difficult to keep. These are officially areas under protection, the so-called APPs, areas under permanent protection. This is an area which is very fragile. These are quaternary sediments which are suffering constantly the northeast passat, the winds, strong winds coming for 24 hours a day, and together with rain, hydrology, and oceanographic origin of these winds, you have a very strong natural erosion. And if you add to the erosion plus the destruction of humans, this is a very, very sensitive area which by all means must be protected for present and future generation. As I told you before, this is a fish ground. Okay, this is the area on the study from a larger overview. This is part of the project. Our idea is to map the whole island of Maranhão Island at scale 1 to 25,000. Here you see the evolution of urbanization, the growth of urban area in 2 times, 2000, 2010, in the and the mangrove areas. We have several. Our interest here especially is to study more detailed mangroves and less the blockhouses and tidal channels from the city. The methodology, this is a flow diagram. We use WorldView-II images, the panchromatics and the 8 multispectral images. There was a fusion. We fused images, and in order to make the auto rectification, we had to use GCPs, ground control points, obtained with a receiver, with a DGPS receiver. And then with the auto rectified images, using the DEM, we proceeded to segmentation. You've heard several times, we have always to do segmentation. These huge images, this would never work without them to classify. And data mining is also being used. We have used data mining before in an urban environment in São Paulo city with very good results. A student of mine will present tomorrow on a poster his findings on this work. And then using also vector-based, these are data obtained from the city, from the planning agency, from São Luis, which obviously we used, and also information, and obviously evaluation of results. And then a spatial analysis, and finally we came to the detail to give a map of the mangrove fragments by city district. The materials, WorldView images, which we obtained free. We are doing much research, many studies from obtaining images from digital globe, vector files obviously, and GCPs obtained during a field survey, which is absolutely necessary. Contour lines as well from the city, which is their information, and data from census. In Brazil, unfortunately, we have just census every 10 years. We should have much more. The population growth is very dynamic, and the pressure over cities, over housing, over infrastructure. Fortunately, in the last census, we have seen a little decline on the population increase, on the percentage, which is good in one part. That means less pressure on the cities and hospitals and all infrastructure. Here you see the WorldView bands, which we have, the 8 bands which we have used. And okay, we used the OBIA approach. This is a scheme which was developed by PAL originally. That was the base of our the basic concept. We're using as input prepare a semantic net, using top-down operators to develop hypothesis, and which on a bottom-up procedure, these we develop instances which we confirm or not, and then as a result we have the description of the scene and thematic scene map. This is adapted from a work done in University of Leibniz in Hanover, which is our partner in the development of InterImage, which gave us their open source codes, which you will never find around there, by the way, in a commercial software. As a result, here you have the segmentation. Here our semantic network, which we developed using InterImage. And so we are able to define mangroves, ceramic, metal roofs, tidal channels, blockhouses, bare soils. And in the study, the mangroves are further detailed as arboreal or lower bush mangroves. Here you have the percentage of mangrove areas devastated by city districts, showing some areas are 30% is quite a high percentage of destruction. And these areas must be more controlled. Some areas are occupied here by blockhouses, as you see, former mangrove areas, and some are stocked for charcoal, which is also illegal, but must be more controlled. Well, we got a very strong urban expansion these 20 years. There is an absence of planning and control actions, but in some areas this would inhibit destructive actions if there is further control. As a conclusion, we have seen with WorldView-II images one can do very detailed classification and analysis of these areas. There is a combination of spectral and spatial resolution which improves our classification, and we use obviously spatial analysis techniques to improve this fragmentation, analysis of fragmentation. And those districts which present a considerable area of mangrove fragments, they are, with those ones who are managed now and controlled, they have a better, they appear better. Thank you. This is very short. If you have any questions, please feel free. Thank you.